She was singing a little bit. I told her it was pretty. Or going to be a sister act. So I wanted to show her that movie. Just talking about a crush she had on a boy.
How'd that make you feel?
Fine. She knows she's not old enough to date, but I told her crush on. Get your crush. That's healthy.
Do you think, has she had any boyfriends in the past?
Not per se, like boyfriends as however they can be early on, but we decided that she was too young and needed to avoid that BS.
Being that she's too young, so she shouldn't be having sex with boys.
She's all the that stuff. None of it counts. None of it's real. I just told her she'd be better off waiting till high school.
Disgusting. It boils my blood.
So I don't think we want to listen to the TV people talk about this. We'll talk about it. He gets confronted, right? At some point, the detective starts talking to him about the images on his phone. And that's when Stephan says, I think I need a lawyer. Should I get a lawyer? And the detective says, basically, I can't really help you with that. And so he lawyers up. So everyone that thinks that these two detectives did an outstanding job, I disagree with you guys. Okay. And I don't think they did a horrible job. I think they rolled the dice, and you can take door number 1 or door number 2. They took door number 2 when they should have taken door number 1. Door number 1 was a much more aggressive style of interview and interrogation that went right to feeding with all the evidence you have and, taking your time like they did. They did methodically go through a lot of explaining to him. However, I don't think that this wimp reacts to kindness. I think he would react much more to assertiveness and a more aggressive detective, much like the guy who interviewed Jennifer Soto. I think his tact and his approach would have worked on Stephan Sterns. I would have confronted Stephan Sterns with Madeline's murder, and I would have gave him all the truths that we know. We saw her body in the car. She was dead when you left the complex. You came back in the complex. She was still dead. We saw you pull into, on video, we have you taking her body out of the front seat of the car and throwing it into the trunk. We have you throwing her backpack and her laptop into the dumpster. And we have your car traveling to St. Cloud and getting a flat. We have a witness saying you were changing a flat up there. So tell us where Madeline's body is. We want to know. Please be a man for once in your life. Make your parents proud of you that you did something good. Give us something that we can tell the judge so that maybe you won't get the death penalty for the murder. Maybe they'll give you life without parole. Or else you have nothing to offer this world, and we have nothing to offer you. He may have lawyered up also, but I think the aggressive approach was they had nothing to lose. Mike, your thoughts?
I think, Billy, you're right about the mismatch between the styles of the police interviewing Stephan and Jennifer. But I think, it's kind of interesting when Stephan's there, he's always got his arms crossed. He's always looking down. He's not making eye contact. And, so you got the officer acting very quiet, very calm, very, very polite to the guy. And then in Jennifer's situation, you have her, and she's sitting on the chair. She's just sitting there. She's open. She doesn't have any arms crossed her chest. She's actually probably making good eye contact with the officer. And he was actually more aggressive. And maybe he was more aggressive, the officer with Jennifer, because she was open maybe to the aggression. And perhaps because Stephan always had his arms folded, the officer thought he needed to do it more slowly, more polite. I'm not sure. You've done this 10,000 times, and I didn't. I'd always do the kind of the interviews, the preliminary stuff right there on the street. I didn't do the secondary stuff. But yeah, it could have been a mismatch in terms of how they were trying to approach based on what maybe they saw in terms of what Stephan was giving them in terms of openness, because he definitely wasn't giving them anything. And then Jennifer, who was contradicting herself all over the place, but she was actually even at least answering in an animated way the actual questions. But yeah, it would have been great to confront them, because you don't know. Like you say, you just don't know. You want to give it your best shot. And you know you only have one shot, because the moment you confront them, either they're going to talk or they're going to lawyer up. And there's no in between. But you know, you'd always like to have that one shot, that one aggressive shot to go for the, to go for the gusto.
Well, Mike, as I said earlier on, my feelings are they didn't need him to make a statement
Right.
about the images on his phone. They speak for themselves.
Okay.
They did need him to tell them where Madeline's body was, because at that point during this interview, they hadn't recovered Madeline yet.
Yeah.
So that should have been their focus. Minute one, going in there,